This video will discuss the introduction of databases and database objects. And we have to learn the following objectives like design a database, which satisfies the collection of requirements, creating a database, adding records to a table, um, closing and opening database, creating and using a query, and also the form and the reports. At the end of this video, you have to create a database for our project. As you can see in this figure, there are two tables here, the client table and the business analyst table. And they are connected to each other through the field which uses the primary key. Okay, as you can see in um, table A, the client table, there is a column for business analyst number. And there are 5 records which found that these clients are connected to the record of Kerry, which has the BA number 11. So you can relate two or more tables in a database. Now, we have here the general guidelines for creating a database project. First is we have to identify the tables. In a table, we have to determine the primary keys in each table, determine the additional fields, the relationship between the tables, the data types for each fields, if necessary, we have to identify and remove any unwanted redundancy just to save space and make sure that the tables are normalized. Determine a storage location for the database and additional properties for fields. And determine the best method for distributing the database objects. Now, to create a database, you can store at either local drive or secondary storage area. Okay. Now, for the demonstration, we will be using the MS Access. Okay. We can just type Access 2016 and to create a database. We have here the blank database desktop database, or you have some option to customize web app as a tracking contact students. But for our database, we have to create a blank database. And for our blank database, we have to name it. So specify the file name. And by default, the file extension is ACCDB. So this is the um, file extension which describes our database file. Okay, and by default, our database will be stored in this location. And so we are going to modify the location on where to save our database. Say, for example, I need to save this one in my local drive. And here, let me have here the references. And here, I need to create a table database and name this one as, for example, the inventory. Okay. The file name is inventory and the save as type is the ACCDB by default for the access database. Okay, then great. All right. Now, once you have created the database, you can specify the table and its fields. And the field, you have to identify the primary key. Now, so this is already the view upon creating a database. Now you have here the table where you can access automatically. And on the left, you have the navigation pane, and you have the navigation pane title bar if you have many objects here at your navigation pane. And this is your access work area with one object. In this case, the table 1 is open. And this is your title bar, okay, which signifies the file name and the location of your database or the path. And you have here your minimize and maximize and close button here at the upper right corner of your window. And you have the view buttons here, the database view and um, the database view and the design view, right? Okay, so you can now start um, specifying or identifying the fields for your table. And of course, you have to specify the table name. Okay, so for example, for this table, I will be, okay, let me just have the design view. Okay, to specify the table name, say for example, we have the products table. Okay, products table. Okay, product. And by default, we have the ID field name, but you can alter this one to any field name like product ID. Okay, product ID. And the data type, this describes your data that you're going to store for this field name, product ID. You have some options here like short text, long text, number, date or time, currency, auto number. This means that the content of this field will be auto incremented. Hyperlink, the object, the attachment calculated. And the common data type that can be used for racial data are the short text, long text, number, date, time, currency, and the auto number. Okay, so for the product ID, since we are having to have a database for our inventory, okay, we're going for the product ID, we'll have to use the short text. Okay, and you can specify the field size. Okay, this specifies the maximum number of characters you can enter in this field. And the largest maximum you can set is 255. Okay. And you can set the required setting to yes, that upon saving a record for this table, this field must not be empty. Okay, so you have to put yes on that. All right. Now, as you can see, there is a key here, meaning the this field is a primary key. Okay, so we cannot duplicate the data in this field name. Okay, to alter this field name setting primary key to not, you can just right click the row header and select the primary key. Okay, to remove the key. And if you want that this must be unique, you have to put a primary key for this. Now, what are the other fields necessary for your table? So, for example, you have the description. Okay, description. For the description, so for example, we'll have the long text. Okay, product ID, description, price. For the price, we'll have the currency. Okay, and the decimal for places can have the auto for that, for the number of digits that are displayed to the right of the decimal separator. Now we'll have the quantity. Okay, and we'll have a number for the quantity. All right, you can just save your work after specifying all the fields for your table. Now, to switch from the design view to the database or datasheet view, you can just press on this, the lower right corner of your view options. Okay, and now you can start entering the data for each of the product. Okay, now and just switch to the design view and we can just add another table. Okay, now we can start adding records to our table. So since we are here on the design view, we can just shift to the datasheet view. Okay, and first we need to save our table. Yes. Okay. Up. All right. Let us just close this table. Oops, select an item for the list. All right. Let's just have the view, the sign view, by the way. Aside from um, having the buttons here, you can just shift to the datasheet view using this um, view tab here, just below the file menu. Okay. All right. No. Okay. So for the product ID, like 1001, the description is like 500 ml nature spring water. The price is 10, quantity is 100. Then for the second product, for example, the 1000 liters nature spring water. The price is 15, quantity is 150. Then for example 1002, let's try. Now this is for the mhm, head and shoulder shampoo. Shampoo. Then price is 6, quantity is 100. 1004, we have, for example, cream silk. Then 7, 200. Okay, just save. Now, to create another table, you can just go to create ribbon, and you have the option to create a table. Okay, so to create a new blank table, you can just press this one, or you can just have this table design for creating a new blank table in design view. Okay, so you have either these options. All right, now for the second table, and just right click and create a design view, for example, and this is for the client table. Okay, client table. Now, client ID. Okay, the first field name is the client ID. Client ID, and this must be short text. If ever there will be a character combination for the client ID, and this must be our primary key for this table. And this one, we have the first name, last name. Okay, by the way, your field names must be one word, so or you cannot use a character as part of the field name. And the first name, okay, 255 field size is enough for the first name, so we can have a short text data type for a first name. The last name, address, okay, for the address you can specify the um, address using the different field names for each of the barangay, city, province, or the specific information for the address, where you can filter or you can control the data, for example. Okay, so let us say for this one, we have the address one. Okay, like address line one, address line two, Okay, so for the address line 2, we can just have the long text here. We have the address line 3. Mhm. We can have the zip code, the contact number, or the contact number. Yeah, we can have the short text for that. Okay, just save, and we can just close our design view of client table. And to enter records for our clients, you can just double click on this um, table client object in our navigation pane. Okay, and the client ID like client 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chesa San Pedro. For example, Look, Mandawi City. I mean, City, province of Cebu, 601409 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 for the second client. Ana. Mm, Ana Paris. Wow. Mandawi City, Cebu, 601409 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you have already 2 records in your client table. Now, if your data is already defined, for example, in the other file, you have from the Excel file data. So you can just go to external data, and if you want to import a database used in an Excel file or stored in an Excel file, you can just have to import the data here using this one, import Excel spreadsheet. You can just browse the file that you want to import. Okay, but for now I don't have a data to be imported, so I'll just press cancel. Now we can use the simple query wizard to create a query. So if necessary, we have to open the navigation pane and select the table we want to apply a query. Right? So since we are in the create ribbon, we have to choose the create wizard from the queries group. Then make sure that you have selected the simple query wizard. Then Press OK. Then we have to choose on the necessary fields that you want to have for our query. Now, for example, we have to okay, for example, for the client ID. Okay, address line 1, address line 2, zip code, contact number. So this will be our selected fields for the clients for our query. Then next. Then what title do you want for your query? Like client query. Then finish. So we have here our client query. Okay, you can just close the query. Now we have here our client query. And just right click and open it in a design view. And we have the following options here to set the criteria for each of the fields. Now for this query, let's try to filter the client with a zip code of 6015. Okay. Okay, just filter the clients with 6015 zip code. We can just save. And upon double clicking on this one, so there are no client with 6015. Okay, so we don't have results for this client query since there are no clients with zip code 6015. Now let's try to close this one. Okay, no. Okay, let's just close the object anyway. For the client, let's try to have Jessa who lives in Lapu-Lapu City with 6015. Okay, let's try to close this one. Let's try to open the query again. And here we have one. So, which is Jessa San Pedro. Okay. Now to create a form, you have to click on the Save button on the Quick Access toolbar to display the Save As dialog box. Okay. Let's try to cancel and let's try to go back to here. Let's have the Save button here. Now, let's have the Create form here using the Create ribbon, and we have here the form. Anyways, you can just click close on this one. Again, to create a form, we have to click on Form from the Create ribbon. Okay. So, okay. So, we have to save this form like client form. As naming conventions, we have to use like uh, FRM or FRM. That means this belongs to the form, client form. Okay. So this is our um, recently created client form, right? And same as with the product, we can create a form for our products. So from the create ribbon, and create a form. Okay, you can just save. And this is for the FRM underscore product. Okay, wait, we'll have to maintain the all caps for the name of our form. Okay, you can just do it the same with the other objects like tables and queries. So it's up to you. Uh, so we can add also totals to a report. Like first, select the field that you want to total. Okay, then click Design on the ribbon to display the Design tab. For example, we have here in the Design tab, we have to select the field that we have to have the total. Then, for example, the sum. So we have the sum of 150 here. Okay, so if necessary, okay. For example, for the products, you want to alter, for example, this one. I previously altered this one to currency for the quantity, and let's go back here to the number. Let's save, and let's go to here the product. So we have the quantity with a total of 550. Okay, okay, and click the save button if you're going to save changes that you have made. All right, and also you can change database properties, like click file on the ribbon to open the backstage view, or if you want to back up your database, okay, click file on the ribbon to open the backstage view, and then click save and publish tab. Okay, then with save database as selected in the file types area, click backup database in the save database as area, and then click save as button. Right, so from here file, then save as, then here save database as. Okay, you can use like for example any file name you want or backup database, so to prevent data loss. Okay, then specify the file name for your backup file. Okay, by default I'll just save this one using this file name, so our database is being backed up, right?